Do you really?
The extra small gloves that the 115-pound girls use, I can fit 4 fingers, like, in 3 holes.
Real? Did they make special gloves for you?
For one fight they had to, but now I just use like the strawweight gloves. But my hands are smaller than a tiny little.
Let me see. Oh wow. Yeah.
And I have really thin bones. I broke this thumb and cut that open.
Well, now the fight with you and Turtle's incredible. I love that fight scene. I'm wondering, when you have to act out a fight versus your real fights in real life, in the sense of, is it harder to like fake it versus really do it?
The only thing that really is hard to do with fights for film is I have to not have so much defense, because I'm used to always guarding my face. And if I'm having a fight, I'm going like this the whole time. You can't see me, so I have to like kind of punch in a way that is, I would consider, inaccurate. But other than that, no, it's pretty cool that when you create a fight scene, it's like, what would you want a fight to be like? It's kind of cool. I do it all the time when I'm in training camp, where I think of, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? And so when I'm imagining scenarios over and over and over for a fight to be prepared, it's like I can imagine any scenario I want, and we can act it out, and it's actually an awesome time.
Wow. And then the moment when you actually have his arm in an arm lock, I mean, that, because that's a classic UFC move, obviously. Like, is there any danger at all to his arm whatsoever in the shot we're seeing? Because that looked pretty insanely painful to me.
Well, I'm very well acquainted with the anatomy of an elbow, so I know how to keep it safe.
That's cool.
But I also know how to do the opposite.
Right. Yeah. Now talk about obviously being in this universe, because there's so many different cameos, but yours really stands out obviously because your part's bigger. It's more of a part in the movie versus just like a quick shot of a character they'll show everyone, like Bob Saget, for a couple seconds or something like that. Do you actually film everything within like 1 or 2 days, or do you come back during the production throughout to do your scenes?
Well, the cool thing about Entourage being filmed in LA is that I could dip in and out. And so I fought Sarah McMahon, and then I did a couple scenes here and there throughout the month, which was cool because I was in town. So they're like, hey, you want to stop by San Pedro today? I'm like, sure. It wasn't like I had to go off on vacation, on location. And we did the pickup scene with Jerry later after Connolly's leg had healed. And that was cool because I was actually in the first week of camp. And that's the week where I put on the most muscle and like I eat a lot, and I was a little self-conscious. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be in a movie and I'm at my most bulked out stage. But it ended up being perfect for the scene because it was so much funnier when I look scary all of a sudden. You know, because I'm all like, tiny and demure.
Traps. It was like awesome.
Like between fights, I get like really small. I lose a lot of muscle. So the earlier scenes when me and Turtle are meeting, I look a lot less intimidating. And then in the gym scene, it's the first week of camp when I'm all swolled up. And, that's part of the cycle. And it is hilarious when he walks in, I'm suddenly like, rah, So I went from self-conscious about it to like thinking that it happened during that time because it was perfect for the scene.
I want to ask you, when you're playing yourself in a movie, how much of it is actually acting, in the sense of like when you have to play yourself? How does that work?
Well, it's actually acting when you have to be yourself when they say go. But it was cool because I'm new to the acting business and I'm new to comedy. I usually do action, and so it was nice that in this step over into a new genre, I was able to be myself because the world expert on being me is me. So no one can say that I'm doing it wrong, and so it gave me a lot more confidence than I would have had otherwise.
That's cool. But like in other scenes where like they write for you, go, I wouldn't do that. That wouldn't be something that Ronda Rousey would do. Like, do you have to like change that at all, or like does he just go along with what Doug has?
A little bit, but only like tiny things. They did a really good job of really capturing what I would say in certain situations. So we met beforehand, and they got a feel of my vernacular. During training camp, I met with them, and I never do that. I had one meeting during training camp, and when they wrote the script, I was like, this is really, really accurate, actually. And it was like a sentence or a word here and there, but they did a great job.